Ladies and gents, welcome back. Away Days episode 82 now. Well and truly into the thick of things for this season. All of us on the couch yet again. We're in good form now. We're back in the season.
We found a time slot.
This week was a good sleep in though.
Yeah. We needed it, we need to reset the
I needed it as well. I had 12-hour shift yesterday.
And then watching football to top it off.
Yeah, legit. It was good though.
Very good weekend. You were saying everyone scored but one team. And
that was what I heard during the United commentary. They were like, oh, so currently every team has scored this weekend besides Manchester United. And this was with 70 minutes to go. So it was oh, come on, they got to get one.
Don't jinx it.
You think United at home, no matter who they're versing, you're going to get a goal, surely, right? But so a lot of goals this weekend, obviously.
At least not to talk about. We've got our combined transfer XI, Tottenham, Arsenal combined XI for the game that's going to come up the following week because we've got internationals in between. And a bit more to cover. We're going to talk Chelsea, Arsenal, obviously last night's game as well. Anything you guys, before we get into it, picked up from the weekend? Anything you want to touch on before we get into the nitty-gritty?
Everton's quite worrying signs, especially being 2-0 up in the 86th minute.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
That itself probably starts to have an effect in the dressing room for future games. Like the fact they were 2-0 up, had the chance to put 3 points on the board, pretty comfortably, and then they lose that. That's now smashing in the dressing room type stuff. You don't know if you come back, and it's so early on, but they're on 0 points. That was their chance to really get the season running.
I thought my DCL take was going to be cold. I was like, oh, he's going to get a limited chance, but when he gets him, put him in.
Yeah,
and it was 2-0. Yes, DCL. But then that brother.
I'm not sure where they come from. Even looking at the likes of Ipswich, at the moment, they look more promising than Everton. So I don't know.
Well, they got a result.
I
think is anyone else on 0 points? No.
No, Wolves got a point as well.
Southampton are on 0 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they're both very shit.
Couple, actually.
Surely just those two, because even Wolves got a point.
Oh no, you're right. It's
yeah.
But it is worrying signs because there's two ways you could go about this game. It could be Everton looking at this game and going, we have the chances, the ability to get stuff from games this season, or it could just be the drop of the head type stuff so early on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple match weeks.
Yourself, anything different from that?
You know how I am usually. I like to
How are you?
I usually have a bit of a holistic look at the league.
Yeah.
And the last few weeks has been pretty to script.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be winning. But this is probably the first week where a couple of results maybe haven't gone the way I expected. Chelsea draw. Arsenal draw. We can talk about that a lot. That couple controversial decisions. But then other than that, I think Newcastle get the job done. They scraped there in the end, unconvincingly. But yeah, I guess I don't really have anything clear to take away. So we'll touch on it in the games.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a rant kind of for United. That comes around. But let's get into this first game. Arsenal 1, Brighton 1. It's frustrating because this game, all the talk was going to be about that red card, but actually was all in all actually a pretty entertaining game.
Yeah.
Brighton
until 50 minutes.
Brighton again, just proving though that they can actually travel now. They've got that just.
Yeah, but
it's
in my
that
opinion,
youthful.
We win that game though without a red card. We 100%.
You win that game, but it wasn't as straightforward, I think, as many people would have thought it would be.
Yeah.
They were still dangerous.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a youthful, just dare and go for it because they didn't look scared to just go after the game. They were sitting in, but they were goal numbers for when they got the break on. I'll let you guys talk about the view on this. I said to you last night, before the live stream, objective as just speaking out of the rules, it is a red card. I see the frustrating with the Pedro one and stuff like that.
Thing I think I've seen
but
in a long time.
Why, if you're Declan Rice and yellow card, are you hanging your foot there? That's a
He's
small
tapped
thing.
the ball 20 centimetres though.
Yeah, no, I don't get. But you tap the ball. This was a rule that introduced from the World Cup 2 years ago. It's been somewhat applied here and there for yellow cards. I know, and you're going to say. It's not. It's not. I know. I'm saying that, but it is a yellow card offence. You've known about this for 2 years now. They've implemented it here and there. Why risk it? Being the cog, the centerpiece of your team, the most important player, to getting things happening with the park. Why are you? They're not going anywhere. They weren't attacking quickly. Hinch would drop the ball down, backed up, hadn't even gone around to take the kick yet.
Veltman tried to smash the thing though.
I don't get why at Declan Rice you there's no need. Everyone else is back. Everyone else was set up. It was him that was high at the pitch.
I think you can look at it from that perspective.
I just think it's...
I'm like, and look, I'm not going to say that Declan Rice has no blame in this matter, right? Because you're right, it was a really easily avoidable second yellow. But I think the reality is that, like, too often we see these inconsistencies. Like Saka said it straight after the game. He's like, all we want is consistency. If they paid that, I'm sure that exact instance where a player has kicked the ball, 5 meters or 20 centimeters in this case, has happened probably 20 times so far this season, right? And I can't think of one yellow card from it, right? There hasn't been one scenario from a game I've watched or, something like that where the ref has pinged someone, especially on a second yellow, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We know it shouldn't be the case, but we know the way adjudicating works in the league. They don't pay them out as, willy-nilly as they do a first yellow, because it's like the consequence of giving out that second yellow is just so much bigger than the first, right? The first is like a warning. It's like, don't, the way they officiate doesn't match the rule books. There's a bit more like, circumstance and
common sense involved
as well.
The way I look at it is, you disregarding whether that in the rule book is a yellow card or not. Think about other cases where think about the tackle, for example, a tackle that warrants a yellow card.
By the way, how did Veltman not get a yellow?
For the initial part of it.
For the bloody smacking, for
going
like
after it,
hacking Declan Rice. Did you see
I know.
What?
But
it's just the whole
going
the
back
whole
to what
thing
I'm saying.
is just ridiculous.
No, it is, because what I'm going to go back and say is, you can say it's a yellow or not, but in the rule book, a tackle of a certain substance is a yellow card. But that same tackle, when the player's on a yellow card, will not be given a red. So why for some circumstances does the rule book come into play on that first yellow, but on the second yellow it doesn't? But then for this circumstance it is. It just seems to me like, to me it seems another one of those instances where the ref should be adjudicating the game and not the star of the game, and he wants to be the star of the game again.
Yeah, look, like I don't know about this narrative where like that, they want to make themselves involved. I don't know about that because I really don't think it's the case. But like regardless, he has inadvertently done that by the whole build up of like waiting till they all clear, and he's hanging around the back of like the little fight, and then he pops up 2 minutes later with the second yellow, and Declan Rice is like, what the hell? It's just like, it's just all this big dramatic thing. And
I would get it if he kicked it into row 20.
The other thing as well is that I know they don't do VAR for second yellows, yellow card decisions, but like if that had hypothetically gone to VAR,
I think it would have stayed.
Well, it probably would have.
Yeah, right? It probably would have, because once you give it.
Well, I know the rule says it does, but it's like it would even more so highlight the fact that this happens probably 3 or 4 times a game, right? Where a player slightly kicks the ball away, and it just never, ever, ever gets paid. But in that, and it was like, it wasn't even the fact that he booted it. Oh, look, regardless, we could talk about the same thing for hours.
The way I look at it is, if Veltman wasn't having a run up to kick it, and Decky Rice just tapped that ball, because it literally went 20 centimetres away. Like, obviously, you have to play into consideration the fact that Veltman was going to kick the ball. But if he wasn't going to kick the ball, let's say Veltman's 3 metres off this play, and he's just tapped that. There is no world where that's a yellow card.
Yeah, I know. Look,
I just think though, because...
So do you think they would have been given that a yellow card?
When I listened to Emi Martinez podcast with Ben Foster from last season, when he got double yellowed for the Europa League, he knows coming to the game what he can and cannot do. He said, I've got 1 yellow card in the bank. I know I can get 1 yellow card in this game, so I'm going to pick my time to do it. Like when you can kick the ball away like that there. You've got one of those in the game. If Declan Rice, he's a midfielder, they do that all the time. I agree with you guys, they do it all the time. So why then, when you've made a tackle that was not that great about 15 minutes earlier, it's still in your mind. You've got the yellow for like 15 minutes earlier. Why are you doing that?
When you got your shoulder and you see a player coming through and there's a ball there, you're not thinking in my head, I've got a yellow card.
Yeah. Hinchell would have dropped the ball and stepped back. He was not even going to play the ball.
Yeah, but you're not thinking in my head, I've got a yellow card.
Well, if you're Declan Rice, a midfielder who's so important to your team, he's a captain of his old club, he's good at these sort of things. That's what midfielders are. They're good at this sort of thing.
Yeah, you're not even thinking that's a yellow card offence.
You need to think better than that. I'm a big fan of Declan Rice. That was a brain fade. I think it was honestly a massive brain fade for me.
aside from the Declan Rice thing, which, as you said, tarnished the game, right?
It
Tarnished
ruined
the
the game.
Like, yeah, Brighton, all things considered, Brighton looks good. But I 100% truly believe that if Rice is still on the pitch, we probably keep a clean sheet. We probably win 2 or 3-0. So it has definitely cost us 2 points, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
1-0 up, they scored directly from the result of being more vulnerable at the back. Hadn't sorted that out yet. And yeah, like we still definitely could have won that game, as Brighton could have as well. The game definitely opened up a little bit in terms of like more clear cut chances when Rice went off. But there's just not a whole heap more to take away from that game, in my opinion, besides the fact that considering Rice got sent off, you take 1 point, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, okay.
And people were saying, 1-0, look, 1 point against Brighton, 1 point against Brighton. It was like, you have to take each sort of game and situation on its merits, right? They're a good team. They've just beat United. They got 1 point against, one point against you guys, or?
No, 3.
They beat you, and they got a point in the game before that as well.
They got 3.
They got 3.
So
Okay.
Both teams were on 6 points.
Yeah, true. So, they've got 2 wins, come into that game, and no matter who you are, if you go down 10 men against any team, and you're winning 1-0 or you're drawing, I think you just have to just scrape to full time, right? So, I'm overall not too concerned. It's game week 3. The season is a bloody marathon. We've seen it the last couple of years. You do not want to peak too early. City did this last year. They do this every year where they start slow. Maybe we can flip the script on them this year because it's looking that way. They're looking good at the moment.
Very good.
So hopefully we can peak towards the latter end of the season and get the results at the right time.
The one thing I'll say, I just don't want to go too far back into what we were talking about before, but we just need consistency.
Yeah,
that is all we're asking for.
We sat here for 2 years and said this though.
We just need consistency.
All
that
the players
doesn't
are
get
saying it.
given. That doesn't get given every week, because I can think of numerous times even Bruno's done that.
Yeah, I can think of I can't even think of the times because it's so normalised.
If you watch a game at 90 minutes, you'll see it happen twice.
Yeah.
3 times that people should have gotten yellow cards.
But don't get me wrong. It gets given a yellow card if you kick the ball 15, 20 metres away. But that little tap like that happens all the time.
In my opinion, it should be adjudicated the same way as a player who walks. I mean, I don't know how much leeway they get with the throw-ins, right? But it's these guys walk 10, 15 metres and the ref won't even give them a yellow. They'll give them a warning. They'll blow the whistle, go back. If we're playing on the rule of the game, you are essentially cheating. So that should be a yellow. Or it's just, I don't want to go back into it. It's just consistency. And I expect from here on out, they pay that more. I'm not even joking. As in, I don't want to see them not pay it again for the rest of the season. I want to see them pay it because I want everyone else to feel the same way.
Only 2 big chances. Odegaard and Havertz had 2 chances. One at the start of the game from Odegaard, right at the end, or towards the bin when it was going end to end for Havertz. 2 big ones. I think that's the only, what I've seen, it feels like the only anger amongst Arsenal fans, the small sort of, is that you could have still won it.
Definitely.
And I guess that sort of hurts considering how things were, felt like you were against
Saka had 0.9 XG and didn't score, which is
because it was a good block from Van Hecker as well as from a Saka shot. It felt like it was still there. Obviously, it was there for both sides, but I guess I can see the Arsenal fans or the...
If you watch the highlights, you see more clear-cut.
The upset, It just feels like there was an opportunity, especially the Odegaard early chance to get it on the board, which is just, if that goes right, everything's flying. You're perfect, 9 to start. But
he started the season a little bit slow, Odegaard. He's got no goal involvements as of yet.
No, because last week it was Saka, wasn't it?
Got an assist either. Saka, does his thing again, gets an assist again. Great ball, great finish from Havertz.
What a header!
Touch on that. And Brighton get a bloody rebound goal.
I know you're 10 men, but was it dunk? And then the 2, just what it went through the 2 centre backs. Was it anyone's fault?
Whoever the hell, who was that?
I think was it Gabriel closer to? I don't know.
No, but who was the player who had the initial shot?
Minter.
Yeah, Minter.
Yeah,
he looks quick though.
Good run.
But
it was weird. Both centre backs looked at each other.
I was a bit frustrated
about
that. Gabriel tried to get a foot in. I feel like 9 times out of 10 he gets one in there. But it's one of those in the box, and
you can't really
To be honest, we rarely get in that situation now. Where
it was strange.
Where there's a player
went
running through us, in that position. So you can almost cut him some slack for that. And it was a great save from Raya initially, but
you can't get mad at the rebounder. I just
one
feel
of
like, you got
those.
to prevent the
It's just
first.
one of those, man.
And that's just unfortunate.
Look, no matter how good Arsenal are, we're going to concede. Even the best teams concede. So
every now and then the team concedes. So point for each side. Brighton flying. So just a little sidestep this weekend. Next one was Villa 2, Leicester 0. Kept an eye on it. It was really a dead sort of game though. Villa just took their chances. Duran on the score sheet yet again, and 9 on the score sheet again.
any chance Ollie Watkins can put a goal away, man?
Bro missed 2 more one-on-ones on the weekend.
Yeah.
He had like 0.8 XG again as well. This guy cannot
He was
score.
too busy diving for penalties and missing chances.
Yeah,
for
missing
me.
my Morgan Rogers assist, man.
Yeah,
Oh
I needed that desperately as well. Leicester were all right. So it was 2-1 because Bonanotte pulled one back. Sorry, 2-1. Bonanotte pulled one back late. They could have had an equaliser late in the game, but Aston Villa was controlled chaos sort of. They just sort of had it enough, but it was not really convincing. I don't think Aston Villa have really turned up yet this season. Not convincing versus West Ham. Not really convincing versus Leicester. Obviously got beaten by you guys.
How many points down there now?
They're on 6.
See, look, I think
This
you can
is-
look at it 2 ways.
Oh, no. If you're an Aston Villa fan, you're over the moon.
Yeah,
And it's 2 good away wins, but I guess now we've shifted our... This is the sort of Newcastle from last time. We've shifted our focus now from being Aston Villa, okay, you've got there, to Aston Villa, okay, you're there now.
Yep.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Can you show us that you can dictate games? Can you show us that you can 60, 70% possession, put sides away, like City do 3-0 at half-time and be done?
Yeah,
That's
but
what we're looking at.
you can look at it from 2 ways though. You can look at it as they haven't hit the ground running and they're still getting points though.
Yeah. I think he's just saying as in more like...
Yeah.
We're more
is where we're
performance
at.
now.
Like,
Yeah.
this is where we are at,
Yeah.
Not good or bad. They
This
just they haven't been putting on the performances, but they're still getting the wins. So
This
that is
is-
the reality.
This isn't, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's the different interpretation of football now. And it's all this, you have to be playing well, but there are going to be periods, even for the teams that do play good football, like City and Arsenal, who play good football, who there are maybe a month or 2 months, and that separates the good and the all right teams of just getting wins when you're not playing all right.
I think with Villa, it's as simple as if Ollie Watkins has scored the goals you'd expect him to score,
4-5.
their season looks a lot different at the moment.
Yeah.
They probably get a result against us. They score a lot earlier in that game on the weekend. They win 4-5. And it's like, I think you can boil it down to as simple as that. Because honestly, like everything else, they're still getting the results, but they're missing the goals, which they would have got 100% last year. Yeah. He'd have 3 or 4 goals at this stage last year. So I think it's that simple, to be honest. As you said, they're not really dominating games in the way you expect from big teams. But I don't think they really did that a whole heap last year in terms of dominating games. I think it was still like they weren't like a 70% possession team. But yeah, look, I think we'll see that as the team gets a few more games.
But say a few new faces get in.
Onana, I mean, that signing's proven to be great.
Two and two away
I
games.
know
as
it's
well.
like a tap in, but a goal's a goal.
These
man.
goals are goals.
Yeah, goals are goal.
Already equaled his tally from last year.
Really?
Pretty handy when you play for a team that you want to attack. Going
Yeah,
forward.
I mean, it's funny because like at Belgium, you actually see him attack a little bit.
We
more.
saw the Euros. He was
Yeah.
bloody
Well,
good.
he made that comment. He was like, I was given a different role at Everton. That's not my role.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm actually quite good in the attacking side of things.
Yeah.
And I was just defensive. It was just all about my defensive output at Everton. And now you'll see, like you saw at Belgium, the best of both worlds.
This is that Villa midfield, though. It's that dynamic 3 where one will go, one will sit. One will
Yeah,
sort
it's
of-
that triangle where they just like,
McGinn can
they
just
go
drop
around
in,
in
Mickey can go-
circles.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, and I think he could be that goal scorer. He could, not going to be the Douglas Luiz type, but he could fill those sort of goals. He
Yeah,
was
you don't
sort of
know.
had. A big loss for them as well was Bailey. He went off injured.
2-1 by the way, that game. 2-1.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bonanotte
yeah.
scored a good goal at the end. Leon Bailey could be a big miss if he's out
Definitely.
for a long period of time, considering how Watkins has been struggling.
So what's up with Kamara? Is he still injured?
Still, it was
Like,
ACL.
how long? Yeah.
So it depends where he goes
ACL
for
is
treatment.
so interesting though. It's like
Yeah, it depends if he
If you
does
fly
the,
overseas, you get, buddy, you're
I'm
done in
pretty sure you can in
6,
England
7
as
months.
well.
baby sent.
Can you get it? Can you get it in England as well now?
I'm
I
not
thought it was
I
banned
thought-
for a bit.
Oh, is it?
I thought maybe
Nah,
maybe
because
like,
like, remember when Chilwell did it?
So weird.
Remember when
Stem
Chilwell
cells
did it
weird,
like
bro.
Chilwell did it 2 seasons ago and came back in like 3.5 months.
Yeah, he probably,
and
went.
it sort of depends
somewhere else.
if you go conservative or if you go like sometimes if you can start healing conservatively, you can get back in like no time.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through the surgery and rehab, but if you go through surgery, then you're a bit screwed.
This would have been close to 4 or 5 months ago for Kamara.
Yeah, because you sort of had
I
8
don't
games
know.
towards the end of the last season. It was towards the end of last
Yeah,
season.
maybe 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
because flies past the Euros and
That's
stuff.
the benefit of having good squad depth.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
Yuri Tillemans.
Ipswich 1, Fulham 1. Again, had this on, didn't really pay much attention, but again, Fulham similar to Aston Villa and the guys that you thought they'd do a bit better, but Ipswich at home, I said it in the first match, that you can't just take it for granted, especially early in the season when
100%.
the league's still alive. This team played some good football, really good goal from Delat, finally got off the score sheet. And Fulham were alright, but still, I think they're taking some time to just sort of embed some of these players.
I think Fulham will be one of those where like it'll take a little bit of time for sure, you know, and then but they'll go on a couple hot streaks throughout the season.
A couple 5-game win streaks,
and they'll beat some teams that you wouldn't expect them to beat on paper, right? Like you can probably make the argument now that the team's actually getting pretty solid, right? You know, but yeah, I think everyone's got a lot of faith in Fulham now to be around the mark where they always sort of usually are at the moment, 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah. Like
I bet say it's such a Fulham result. Like you expect them to win, but you just don't really know.
But then they'll bat at you guys. Right?
Yeah, but they'll go to Old Trafford or they'll defend for 90 minutes for City.
Reece Nelson.
Lucky we've already versed them.
But that's her team though, right? They're literally that team. They might go lose Southampton, but they'll go beat, I don't know, Chelsea one. It's just that's just Fulham for you. Fair play to Ipswich. Good first point of the season. They'll look to kick on from there. A few tough fixtures to start the season off, but they'll get into the swing of things. They look like the best team, right? Are we agreeing from those coming up? Leicester close, but I think Ipswich is the most promising.
Old mate's got the boot with Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris. Giving us the midfield.
Calvin Phillips.
Mixing the beats
coming in.
Calvin Phillips actually
Luongo.
Luongo got dropped.
But Calvin Phillips actually were right in the week. I was just going to give it to him.
I thought he looked good in the first couple of games.
Nah, Luongo got the drop.
We can't drop the captain, so like it's going to be Phillips and Morsey. And then the third game before, two more games before we get into our first segment. Brentford 3, Southampton 1. Southampton are just shit. They just keep playing out from the back to their own.
It's like so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually watched myself.
Blokes like need to play Brexit football. This is like they don't have the players. It's a bit of like a worse version of Burnley from last season.
It's almost the exact same as Burnley last season. They stick to their guns. Again, that's how they came up. They came up conceding a shit ton of goals and scoring a shit ton of goals, but they're realising they can't. But they can't score the goals. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, you got to break instead of breaking down championship teams. You got to go and start breaking down, especially against some of the better teams.
Even at Brentford, Brentford's a hard team.
That team does suck.
It showed from Luton last year, and it's showing probably a little bit. I know that Ipswich are more attacking than Luton, but it's just showing coming into the Premier League that first season, it's all about staying up. And you're not going to stay up and get 60% possession a game against these teams that are cemented into the league. These teams it's not even these mid-table teams now got world-class players.
That's the thing. But I sort of agree. I understand the playing out the back acts that, but I'm still thinking you can still play your brand of football, but you need to get rid of this playing out from the back because Newcastle, that was the goal that conceded. Yeah. Two goals on the weekend were playing out from the back. Who were they last week? And Nottingham Forest.
It's just picking. It's just like
picking the right time.
Yeah, it's picking and choosing when to do it.
You know who did it well? Because I'm not talking about going and playing literally Sean Dyche football coming into the league. But you know who did it well? You go look at the likes of like Fulham when they came into the league. They picked and chose when they were going forward. When they
it wasn't a lot from when they tried to do it the first time.
Definitely. Yeah. But they didn't go to games and look like they got completely dominated Fulham in that first season and then lost and then won 1-0. It wasn't that. It was they were like, we will sit in and hold for 10 minutes, and then now is our time to push up, create those chances.
I think a better example is Forest, who. They knew pace is their style, and it still is. Their style of football is we're going to win the ball back and we're going to play. So similar to what Luton did, sit in, but then when you want to press, you need to press. Luton did it well. Forest did well, just press. And then when you win the ball back, then you can play with pace. But the problem is none of these teams really have that electricity in the final third. It's more these technical
also
players.
Have like Premier League quality
around.
Not at least not like Premier League names up there, right? You know,
Forest had the luxury of signing everyone, right?
Yeah, well, I think they're more just hoping that these young players who were good championship players all come up and are able to implement what they did in the championship.
But it's also probably the style of player, though, is in like these guys can probably work in better teams. You know, they can probably elite finishes and all that stuff, right? But as in
you put them all together in one.
He nailed it in terms of like the attribute of what those Forest had were like very fast players who are really good in the counter, right? Whereas like like when you think of Adam Armstrong,
he's not a quick guy. He's just
do you think more so as in like great finisher, knows where to be, sort of thing. You know, that's why he can score so much in the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, is he going to nail a team on the counter? And does he have the rest of the guys around him to go with him?
That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
100%
There's
sure.
no Nico
Like
Williams.
even
There's no
Burton
Lampard.
Diaz, like I think the best of him we've seen is like long shots and, you know.
Individual brilliant.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? But once again, not necessarily being able to consistently beat teams on the counter, right? You know, he'll score great goals this year.
100%.
But is it going to be on a consistent enough basis where they can get enough points? Probably not, right? That's the problem with Southampton.
It's just a balance. Need to find the balance right now.
Yeah.
And then finally, before our first segment, Everton 2, Bournemouth 3. You already sort of touched on it. I did keep an eye on this one because I wanted to see how Bournemouth
Very
were going.
concerning.
This was bad because Bournemouth did not have a sniff for the first 70 minutes. They were really, really bad. Probably one of the worst games I've seen that side play. Everton controlled it. They were not bossing the game in terms of like heaps of chances, but they had the ball. They were getting in dangerous spots. And then the fact they can switch like that, like it's almost like they thought the game was gone. They just said, just on the back foot. All of a sudden, bang, bang, bang.
So bad for 10 minutes though was meant. Like they had, it
87
wasn't just the three. It wasn't like Bournemouth scored all 3 chances. They could have scored like 5 or 6.
They had one hit the
It was
crossbar. One
ridiculous.
was a good save from Pickford.
Yeah.
Semenyo could have like 4 in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was
on his own.
ridiculous.
It was
The most
ridiculous.
concerning
bizarre,
thing
man.
I would say is when you've got a Dyche team that lets that happen, then there's a few problems because that's like Dyche builds his whole football around. Oh, we get 1 or 2 goals and we're just solid at the back now. We can hold for 10 minutes. Dyche just held games out for 90 minutes, let alone 10 minutes.
Yeah, well,
So-
that game was the exact opposite of what
Dyche represents.
of what that Everton team want to do. Like, you know, that's just, or is it was just a complete capitulation. And
Fell
like,
apart.
you know, I think you said at the start of the show, like that it is probably a pretty big defining point in Everton season now. I mean, 0 points is just so
Home.
deflating. Yeah, home. The fans would be so deflated. Everyone would be so deflated. Like,
Would there be odds on at the moment to go down?
I think, yeah.
I'd say 100%.
yeah.
Like,
So you
I
think
think
Ipswich
Southampton is the
are
only
less of a
team
chance?
worse.
I reckon, yeah.
I think Southampton is the only worst team than Everton right now in
Do you
the
think
league.
Ipswich and Leicester are both better?
Yeah. I think
Both better chance of staying up?
They've played better. They've been unlucky in a few. Like Leicester could have got a point versus Villa. Like that's sort of the levels we're talking at here. And Ipswich played well against Liverpool and got a point against Fulham. So it's like there's different levels to what's going. And that's the big thing for me. It's at home.
But I know it's probably going to define their season now because their heads are going to drop. But 10 minutes of football we're talking, they have a 2-0 win. And it's
not.
If that what I'm trying to say is they were promising, like you said, for 70 minutes of the game.
They actually played okay.
So
Yeah.
if you look at it like that, is it just a lapse of concentration for 10 minutes?
No, but now there's going to be like mental demons though in every.
No, that's
scenario
that's
they
what I'm
have.
saying. Yeah,
They've made history.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know.
worst
I think the
turnaround
other one
ever
was
in a
like
game.
77.
Is that actually true?
Yeah.
The last one was probably 80 minutes.
No,
Was it
the second,
77? 80?
the record before was 80 minutes,
80
2-0
minutes.
up, losing
Yeah.
3-2.
They've broken a record. That's how bad it was.
I can't even bet on relegation. Well, I'm trying to find the odds to see who is like.
It's that early.
You can't find them. It's a win the thing. It's really.
It's
frustrating.
and the thing is,
Oh no,
too,
I found it.
I reckon they'd be second.
Oh no, they're still 4th.
So they're still back in the 3 to go back down.
Just really, yeah. It's, wow,
You're at home. You get 10 minutes to go.
Nice odds there.
And it's a Bournemouth team as well.
legit.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not a fan. Well, I'm happy they're going down because that's what I had in my predictions.
Yeah.
I think
My predictions might as well, like, I'm not coming in for that show, by the way, at the end of the season. I'm going to pull a sticky.
he's done.
I'm telling you now, the sticky is getting pulled.
I reckon early days I'm looking pretty good.
You're already bang on.
Yeah.
I'll put pride in Dyche.
I forgot about that.
I'm lost. I'm not coming in.
Actually,
I told you.
my
West
God.
Ham sick, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to.
No.
So let me know what day you do that episode. I'm planning a holiday.
Bucket up.
Way.
He's
I'm
going
planning a
away.
holiday.
He's going away.
I'm leaving the country.
He's going
You put Brighton at 19th, not even 18th.
But
Dude,
when
oh
we
my
did it,
When we
Ed
did that, made no signings.
signings.
Had
I
a
know,
terrible
but
end of
it
the
was
season.
Still Brighton, man.
I think I had them not far off.
Bro,
but I
their
had them at
team was
16.
shocking. It was borderline
Yeah,
relegation.
but that means you only had one of Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester, and Everton as worse than Brighton.
Yeah, I think I had Southampton.
Which is fair enough. But
Still, it's crazy.
I think you might walk away with this year because I think I had Brighton quite low as well. So
So I
think
won
you,
last year. I think I walked over the last
You
year.
walked
You
it
get them
last
quite low.
year.
You get them like 16th or 17th as well.
I don't know. I'm saying I'm going as well. But yeah,
Oh, I wouldn't have had them much higher, but it's in like
they'll be heading mid-table. I'm sure of it.
You get them like 12.
Yeah. which I'll probably finish. I'll literally finish.
I'll get it up.
That's what.
What are we on to now?
We're going to combine transfer 11. So while you look at that, I can introduce
this
this
is an interesting one.
This is one of those segments again where we could end up with the exact same teams. I'm not really sure. Or we could have very different.
I had him 13.
I don't think so, because this is very much subjective to what you think. Is it the best players that have come over to a certain club? Or like, I've done it more so price for it as well. Yeah, I've done like, best deals.
I'll tell you what, a lot of them stayed in the league. There's not many that have actually come into the league.
Have you done a team as in the best team?
I think, yeah, you know what, yeah. But I still think they're going to be their best signings for their clubs.
Yeah,
I think they'll be the best signings for their clubs as well. Yeah. All these guys will improve their teams.
I've done best.
So are we doing like goalkeeper?
Just go run. So I went 3 at the back. You went 3 at the back.
I went 3 at the back.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm going to start this week. We'll go reverse order this week. Okay. Goalkeeper, I think, is a clean sweep here. Aaron Ramsdale.
Yep.
In goal. Yep. Southampton, well, they need someone.
Do you want to do it in segments, like back, defence, midfield,
attack? That sounds good.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we'll go Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, you go through
my back 3, Matthias de Ligt, Joachim Andersen, Max Kilman is my back 3.
How can I miss one here?
There's my 3. Kilman obviously makes West Ham 10 times
better. So you've gone Anderson.
I've got Kilman as well.
Personal favourite.
I don't have it. Kilman or Anderson.
Okay, so I've gone Kilman.
Yep.
No, I'm changing. I don't like that one at all.
I'll go mine, man.
You go.
I've got a back 3 as well. I've got Tadibo, de Ligt, and Calafiori.
Right.
So I've gone Calafiori, Kilman, and Anderson. I changed Tadibo to Anderson because I completely forgot Anderson transferred.
Yeah,
but it's a good transfer for Fulham and all parties involved probably.
Yeah, so I've gone Calafiori. Obviously hasn't played, but I think it's a really good signing for Arsenal, as we've been talking about. Like, that just provides that extra bit of depth.
Yeah.
You look at it now and you're like, Saliba or Gabriel get injured, or Timber's injured, or whoever's injured. You just like feel comfortable when you look at other teams around them. Probably, obviously, City probably are in the same position, but apart from that, you don't feel comfortable with players getting injured. You look at Chelsea from last year. You look at Tottenham, even United. Liverpool. Those play Liverpool. Like, Van Dijk gets injured, there are worries.
I mean,
don't get me wrong. There's still worries because Saliba is such a good player, and you don't know if they're going to replicate it. But honestly, it's not that big.
I reckon
big of a deal.
So the players that can play centre back in our team: Calafiori, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, White,
even Tobiasu if you want to.
All of them, probably like start for United. I'm not even taking the piss.
Yeah, no.
Probably everyone bar Tomiyasu would start for United.
Yeah, Tomiyasu would start for
United. Not a centre back.
Little quick plot twist, but no, as in the reason I say that is because that signing, and the reason I put it in is more so for the club, how good that is for the club, rather than for Calafiori's career.
For him, it's terrible.
I'm not 100%. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how much he's going to play. Yeah, but great signing for the club.
Yeah, and on
a cheap price.
De Ligt, Tadibo. I think Tadibo is a huge signing. Like, there was a lot of big clubs. Juventus were huge, and United would have signed him if it wasn't for like regulations with Radcliffe there. And then De Ligt, I think just for the price we got him for. Although, like, people might say that's overs, whatever. But 60 million for De Ligt. We know what De Ligt's done. De Ligt was still, as companies said,
Was it 40? That was 40.
Oh, no, sorry. It was 40, sorry.
Because the package was
60.
Yeah,
the package was 60. So, like, 40, 45, let's say.
Oh, so you pretty much paid just 60 for De Ligt, true.
So 45 million.
African brother, mate, can't stand it.
45 million, whatever it is for De Ligt. That is huge comparing.
I think that's good.
We know what this guy's made of. Although he hasn't been playing at the level he did at Ajax since he's left there, he has still been playing quite a good level. He was a star for their starting centre back for Juventus, and even this season, Company said that was a club decision, and not his. He was his number one choice. Company's come out and said that.
Yeah, okay.
I'd agree with that. Joachim Andersen for me, I think that's a massive gift.
Yeah,
Fulham, that's a progression for Fulham for me.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You lose Tim Ream, who I thought was good, but you get like a next level Joachim Andersen, ball player, great at the back, and then Kilman as well. This guy needed a big move because he's too good for Wolves, man. He's very good.
He's 27. Like, you know, he's coming into like for a centre back. It feels like the absolute prime of his career, and it's a long prime too. Probably like 6-7 years. You know, West Ham could have him there at the back now for, and it's finally like it's a position they needed to address so bad, and he's one of the best available in the Premier League in terms of like
proven,
English Premier League proven. He was Wolves captain.
I would say as a captain as well, leadership.
Wolves captain. Yeah. At a reasonably young age for leader, so I think it's a win. It's a massive win for West Ham, that signing on a good price tag too.
Definitely
25-30 mil, something like that.
Yeah, no. That's what I was thinking about. You lose Declan Rice, who was your captain. You get a lot of the younger sort of all about me sort of players of Kudus and Pakesa. You need a leader back there, and you've got now and the second guy there in Kilman. So that was big for me as well.
4-3 in the midfield.
Yeah.
Mine's I'll go with mine first. I got a funny. It's not really a formation. I've just got players. I've got 3 central players. I've got Amadou Onana holding, Ilkay Gundogan next to him, and then Emil Smith Rowe at the 10.
I have all 3 of them.
Good man.
Yep.
Good man. Who's your fourth midfielder?
My 4th midfielder was Minte from Brighton.
Okay, so I haven't filled up the pitch, but yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Okay, so I've just got him as like a sort of. I literally just put 4 centre mids, and I was like, they're obviously not all centre mids.
Furthest,
but he's in. Yeah, so I've got him in my midfield.
Yeah.
And purely because I think Brighton capitalised on Newcastle needing to sell. Right, it's a bummer for Newcastle.
Screwed that up.
Yeah, I know it's a massive bummer, but and he's looked very, very good since he's come in.
Yeah.
He's 20 years old. They found another one. I know he's 30 mil, so it wasn't like a 5 mil.
No.
Who is he? But still, we know what they do with their players. They'll probably sell them 100 in a couple of years. So
Newcastle taking back for 110 in a few years time.
I've gone a little bit different. I've gone Onana, Ugarte, Rodriguez, and Smith Rowe.
Yeah, Rodriguez is a good one.
Onana, Ugarte, Rodriguez, and Smith Rowe. So you've gone Onana and Smith Rowe as well.
Yeah. So I've got them too. Gundo, to be honest, kind of like lapsed my mind a little bit. But looking at it, I don't think I would put him in either way because although we know what he does in the Prem, I don't think he is now, looking at what City did last year, going to be that massive point of difference.
Just wait till March.
That massive point of difference to them winning the league.
I feel like we say this with Gundo every season.
Just wait.
He's another year older. He's not going to be able to do the goals again.
No, but it's not. I don't know if it's about that. I just think that
most
they've
contributions
got other players that also can do.
Yes,
I know. So it's like Gundo comes in and he's like the cherry on top, but I don't think he's like that massive point of difference. When you go look at Onana at Villa, him coming in for Douglas Luiz and setting the world on fire. You go look at Rodriguez on a free, so that's a big thing. Although Gundo was on a free, obviously, as well, but Rodriguez on a free, that's the type of signing that West Ham needed to take that next step up. You look at Ugarte, like, coming in for Casemiro, bringing some legs, like, after looking last night, that's going to be huge for United. Hopefully he can continue how he's played for Sporting and PSG, because that's going to be a revelation signing based off what we've seen from Casemiro. It's going to be like the Casemiro signing that first season. And then you look at Smith Rowe, I think he picks himself into this team.
Yeah, but Smith Rowe's the
one
first
thing on
one
the
for me.
Gundo thing was that you talk about the cherry on the top of the cake thing. I think that's almost exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Right? As in, they're not looking for someone to change the dynamic of their team.
I just think there was more.
They're just looking to make 1% increments just to get 1 point better. Like, if you can get 1 point better and you're on 93 points,
how much cost me better can you get?
You're gonna win the league.
Do you not think that
99% of the time? So it's like
losing Alvarez though is
but that doesn't any
something
on
happens
Gundo.
to Haaland. That's a bigger hole than Gundo coming in.
If something happens to Haaland, there's definitely some, like, they're gonna have to rejig the way they play.
Play like KDB as striker again.
Yeah, to the false 9 setup, but they can still do that.
But on that point, that there's nothing. Gundogan came for wages. Like he didn't come for, like, that had nothing to do with what Alvarez.
No.
That money's still there
Definitely,
to spend.
definitely right. I'm just saying, I think the other players, whether they do or don't, have the potential to have a bigger, like.
I still think you underrate someone who's been.
No, I'm not underrating him. I'm just saying that what the differential between City with Gundo or not, based off last season, is smaller than what Onana can do to Villa, what Ugarte can do to United, what Smith Rowe can do to Fulham. We're talking about substantial. Like, Ugarte doesn't perform for United. Ten Hag's getting the sack and finishing 8th. Whereas Ugarte...
yes.
And whereas Ugarte can perform, we're looking at the players around for United. We'll probably touch on it later, but the rest of the players aren't performing that bad. Casemiro has been this massive hole that it just looks like they've chucked the mannequin in for someone to do stepovers around. That's what it looks like at the moment.
Stop trying to justify the fact that it lapsed your mind, okay? He said it. He's trying to justify it now.
I don't think I put him in. Rodriguez on a free is a huge deal.
It's a good deal. And obviously Smith Rowe bossing it for Fulham. And I think he might have double digit for both goal and assist. I feel like
Smith Rowe.
I was at that Ipswich game. If people could finish, he gets.
Oh, I didn't actually watch the game. Was he?
He had 2 shots himself, went close, and he could have had an assist to Mooney. So I think it'll be bloody good this year, especially if Fulham keep
Yep.
going up the table. My front four is Savinho off the left, Minter off the right, Felix and Solanke up top. That's my front four.
Okay.
I went different there.
So I have Felix and Solanke. You got any ones of the same?
I've got Savinho and Solanke.
Okay. So
we both have Minter.
yeah, I had him. Well, why did you put him up? Yeah.
Yeah, same reason as you. Best Brighton player,
But then I've-
best
yeah.
signing, good value as well, 30 million. Solanke, I think we can all agree, is probably the one major striker signing. Not many strikers bought this summer.
Or Xerxes, you could have.
9.5 doesn't really count as a striker.
Or Eddie Nketiah, that's a good one as well.
True.
So,
Palace.
to be honest,
That's
that
a good
is
signing.
actually
For
like,
Palace, that's a good signing.
I think it's a win-win for. I think it's a win for all parties involved. We get 30 mil.
Yeah.
Palace
Yeah.
get a player better than Edouard.
And they can ship off Edouard to Leicester.
Yeah, legit. Who Leicester picked up.
Leicester is stinky.
And Eddie gets a
Game time.
real chance now to become like a Premier League striker. Right?
That front two is going to be crazy. Matete
I've got
is
one
and
different though. I've got Neto as well.
Neto. I had to say continuity. I said it'll be this flop signing,
You're
so
probably
I
gonna-
kept it to...
Yeah, you're probably going to
I
have
think
a go at me.
he's looked all right. So I think, and if he can take that next step up, I think it'll be very important to how Chelsea play this season, how Chelsea go this season, and you saw his quality at Wolves, and now he's got those players around him.
And how much more can he step up,
You were just
though? I'm just
harping
wondering.
on about like, how much they're going to impact the team. Like Gundogan's going to be the cherry on top. Neto, like, what's he going to average? Like 45 minutes a game?
I just don't think he can
Surely
get any
he
better than
becomes
he is
a
right now.
starter.
Yeah, but he'll start, then he'll get dragged, and he'll play in the Europa League. Like as in, there's just so many
Yeah, I
players
know,
up
I know.
there.
That's my problem
Like,
with
is he
Chelsea.
gonna play off the right?
You can't get any confidence because if you start a game, you
Yeah.
don't impact in the first 50 minutes. You get dragged in 60 minutes.
Felix probably is the one who I feel like will get a lot of minutes.
I think he becomes the guy.
I think, yeah, me too. So that's why I put him in as well, because I think he would be the one who plays consistently. And, you know, it's a Maresca signing. We've heard all about how Maresca, you know, clearly wants his
Neto's a
own
Maresca
players.
signing.
Yeah, I know, but as in, I think Noni Madueke just scored a hat-trick, right? And Maresca's playing someone off the right who he clearly doesn't mind in Madueke. Probably prefers Neto, right? I'm not. No,
Yeah.
look, they might be very similar tales this season. You know, they both probably average 60 minutes, as in Felix and Neto.
Yeah.
I just thought Felix addressed the position more so than what Neto did. Right?
They did start Neto on the left last night, it looks like.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
but-
st- no,
but
he didn't start.
He started last night. He
Yeah,
dragged
he
58 minutes.
started,
He
he started on the left. He started dragged to 58 minutes.
Started
Yeah, on the left
So
though.
they dropped Mudryk for him. But that's the problem with me, with
on
Chelsea.
the left.
It's more of a...
So they're going to try and make it work.
It's more of a global Chelsea issue though, because it's same with Mudryk, same with Madueke, same with Neto. When you've got three guys on the bench that will play your position,
Same with Felix though, or no?
I think Felix becomes the central guy. I think they end up doing something like that.
Nicholas Jackson's probably got like 3 goals, I think.
He's been cool, but I just think Felix for me is the most talented.
You got
You know, I think he's the
Nkunku
most
as well.
talented player at
And
There's-
Cuckoo.
like Felix doesn't score one game, you bring it
But
on
Nkunku's
not
becoming. Nkunku's going to become that left-sided
He's
guy.
got, I
They're
think
forcing him
Cuckoo's
out
got an
wide.
issue, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Chelsea's problem is you can't play as a player and get confidence because you know you're going to get dragged in 60 minutes. How do you play with freedom and a willingness to take the game on and try things when you know if you fuck up, you're gone at the half hour mark or like the hour mark? That's the problem with Chelsea. So I feel like Neto can't, and I feel like how much better can Neto possibly get?
Yeah, you're not right.
I think we saw the peak of him last season when he was like scoring that solo goal versus Luton. Like that's
I guess
Neto.
all you could say is that how much better could he get is that he'll probably perform at the same level, just have more opportunity to do so.
to do some
right?
stuff. Whereas I feel like
In a team where if he plays more.
yeah, I feel like Felix will fly. I feel like just weird. I feel like Felix will flourish.
I
just
like
think he'll
Felix a
cook.
lot on 45 mil. Like as in, you're signing a player who's proven that he has so much capability.
120 mil signing for 40.
Yeah, exactly. Is it, you know, and he's 4 years older, 5 years older.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think we saw. Did he score last week against Wolves?
Yeah,
He
City
did.
scored last week.
I
Good
think
finish.
you saw from that banger.
Yeah.
Because it was actually
goal,
a
very good goal.
first time banger. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
You saw from that goal just like what he's capable of, and I feel like, yeah, Chelsea have been signing a lot of players who are good around the edges, you know, fast, can do a bit of this, a bit of that, right? But as in like, is finishing their strong suit? Probably not. You probably get a player in Felix who's got the capability to be a really good player, end product wise. And I agree with the stance that he'll probably become a staple piece. That's why I put him in mine.
Yeah.
How close was Sterling from getting in your team?
Sterling's in mine.
Oh, he's in yours?
So
He's your
that's-
last one. I
that's
was about to say,
the
I thought you
player.
only had two up top. Yeah,
Sterling's in mine. So I was going to touch on Sterling.
You're not even paying his wage, basically. So
We're paying less than 50%.
That is the biggest win of all. I don't.
yeah, they're paying 220 and you're paying 110.
100K, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that, right?
That's chips
On a
these days.
free loan, you know,
Yeah, to a rival club.
Like-
That's crazy. They just do this these days.
Not yet. I mean,
Really
to a
enough.
rival, to a club that's better than them.
Yeah,
Like, as in, well, genuinely, like, as in, it's been, 2 years now where they've been absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And we've been at second the last 2 years. It's like, this is one of those signings where, yeah, he's probably not going to play a lot. But it's how cheap he's going to be for us to get a 29-year-old, 4-time Premier League winner, I think almost like a Golden Boot winner at one point as well. Like, as in, look, I've never been Sterling's biggest fan, but the circumstances at which we've got him are just too good to turn up. Like, as in, or to turn your nose up to it, right? Turn down, rather. So it's like, I think that signing's so beneficial to our squad depth, and I'm actually really, really keen to see him get in the park in a red kit, man.
Sterling and Arsenal works to a team. What was he good at City? He was getting at the back stick and not tapping one home. What will Saka do? Set it up, back stick. He'll just tap it home.
Yeah.
He will be good because he doesn't have to do all the hard work
Where will
himself.
he play, though?
I think I have to the left.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to start.
See, we're hearing that he's going to
Be the
I feel like
Saka.
the whole point was that we signed him as Saka replacement, but I think he's better off the left.
Matt, I'm saying Champions League nights, Trossard up top, Sterling on the left, Saka
I'm
on the right.
seeing-
That's danger.
I'm not even kidding. I'm seeing Raheem up top.
Raheem
I'm seeing
up top.
Raheem plays like
We did it for
weird
City. He
striker
was
role.
doing that stuff for City. Get in the
No,
box.
And Mikel was there with the false nine.
He did that.
He probably
did that.
loves it.
He loved that year. That was the prime City era. That was it.
No shit.
I feel like Chelsea was not his team because
I really like this Sterling signing. I'm not gonna lie.
If you
He
would have
loves
thought
attacking.
Marseca, like,
no, but it's different.
I know
Tuchel
it's
wanted him.
different.
Tuchel said 2 years ago.
Wait, how do you
He's
say
our
his name?
number one signing. Was it
How do you say his name?
Sterling?
I thought it was Maresca.
Maresca, yeah.
what did I say, Marseca?
Marseca. I think he said.
He cut the
Yeah, me questions.
No, Sterling fits in your
Yeah,
team. He doesn't fit in Chelsea's team. There's too much
Yeah.
dribbly sprint bar line, like long shots.
Yeah,
That's not Sterling.
100%.
Sterling's
And it
a
was
system
dribbling
player.
but slow build up.
Yeah,
So it was like
he's a poacher,
yeah.
which is what he is.
He's a
Yeah.
poacher. and
City
he's
works.
fast.
He'll
That's
do
what he
that
is.
at Arsenal.
He'll miss a few chances, but if we create enough, he'll put enough away. So
100%.
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see if we can still do it. It's been a little while since we've seen the best of Sterling, so hopefully.
But
still
it was
better.
Chelsea. Anyone could
Yeah.
perform like Chelsea. All right, I'll run through my team. We can run through all of
Yep.
once again. Ramsdale on goal. Delit, Joachim Anderson, Max Kilman, Amdi Onana, Ilkay Gundogan with Smith Rowe at the 10, Savinho, Minter, Felix, and Solanke is my front four.
I got Rambo, Calafiori, Kilman, Anderson as a back three. Onana, and then Gundo, Minter, Smith Rowe. Felix on the left, Solanke up top, Sterling on the right.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I've got Rambo, Calafiori, Delete, Tadibo, Onana, Ugarte, Rodriguez, Smith Rowe at the 10, and a front three of Savinho, Solanke, and Neto.
You didn't have Savinho because you put
I put
you put Felix out there.
Yeah.
That's crazy, not having Savinho for what they brought him in for as well.
Oh,
It was you
Wait,
taking picks.
We missed out on a lot of good players, man.
Probably
I could-
Savinho was
I
the
couldn't
best
put- I couldn't
signing
put
of
Moreno
the
in.
year.
I had it as my best sign of the season at the start
Yeah,
of the year.
best
That was
signing
my
of the
that was
season.
my prediction. Not that it's not. But that was my
I
prediction.
think Gundo adds more to City than Savinho does, in my opinion.
I love we just kept with the Savinho name. By the way, it's landed now. The Savio's is gone forever.
Yeah, yeah.
He just is
yeah,
Savinho now.
Yeah, so
it's
Savvy.
Savinho. Savvy lad.
What's the next game, City?
Next game was Forest 1, Wolves
Oh,
1. One
okay,
of the great games of the weekend. One of the top games.
great.
One of the great games of the week. No, Gary gets his first point of the year. They're off the bottom. That's all really has to be said about that. They probably deserved a point in
Yeah.
the last few games. Actually played okay in periods. Then it was City. West Ham 1, City 3.
Yeah.
Would you say the league was back on Friday morning and then the league
I
was
think I
off
was
on
like,
Saturday?
when I saw we signed Sterling, I was like, this window's been nuts. The league is back. Everyone is better.
And it, took,
And then-
it took one night and then waking up again said the legs were
Yeah.
Bro, that
done.
prediction
Legs
from
done.
last week is on.
and then Haaland scored 3, and it was just like,
No.
league's gone.
Game's gone. Game's gone.
Game's never been
Farmers
further
League.
gone.
Farmers League.
What was my prediction?
50 goals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I tweeted this. I'm so excited. There's a timestamp.
Seven.
I'm gonna repost it every week when it happens.
With 7 goals, 3 games.
He's on track for 88.
He's on. Oh my.
That's what he's on track for. He's
Well,
not gonna get.
yeah, he's not
88.
gonna get
No,
that.
but
But 50
you've got,
should get
you've got
40.
38.
He should get 40.
I'm telling
You've
you,
got 38
I've
in
sat
the back
here
pocket.
so many times and said, if anyone is going to break Messi's record, it's going to be this guy. I'm telling you,
It's crazy.
all he does is score goals. Last year, he scored a goal a game and he looked so off. No, like that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He scored a goal a game and yet he looked so off last year. His finishing was gone. Everything was gone. I think it was his second goal against West Ham where he just had like one touch and absolutely
Cuts inside, bang,
he
smashes it.
belted deflected the thing.
Yeah, the net nearly broke.
I said it in the reaction video. His back lift was probably this big.
Oh
Like,
my
it was
God.
nothing, but the power,
It was like...
it sent Areola off to the bench. It sent him
Blokers
off.
literally took last season so personal. It was like he's won a golden boot, but still took it personal from all the slate he got. It was like Haaland. He's just not him. He's just not this.
Foden's team.
Yeah,
It's my
bloke's
team again.
gone away during the Euros, not played in the Euros, gone to some lake and meditated by a lake. Did you see the?
Yeah, did
video?
the fishing and like,
Yeah,
like,
he's just sitting there like meditating by the lake and like in his little lab, and he's come back and 7 goals in 3 games, 2 hat tricks, already replicated how many hat tricks he got last season.
back to
in
that
3 games.
Second time.
He only had 2 hat tricks last season, 3 games.
Did you see the like Premier League all-time stat?
Yeah, he's
about the
equaled it.
hat-tricks?
He's equaled it already or something.
He's already got it. He's equal it. I'm pretty sure.
No, I think he's still one less.
Oh, but he can do it in less than
he's
100
played
games.
69 games.
Everyone's like, he'll do it in less than 70 games.
He's played,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, wait, he's played like 69 games.
Yeah,
And-
it's
and whoever's
crazy.
first. I think
I
it's,
saw someone-
it's Aguero. No. He's got 8, Aguero's got 11.
Yeah.
But the point is Aguero's played 400 games or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Rooney was like some sort of hat trick record in like 100 and something more games
Yeah, it might
than
be
someone
some other
else.
hat-trick,
Yeah.
record.
And everyone's like, he'll get it before he even gets to 100
It
or
was
70
total
or some
Premier League
shit.
hat-tricks,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Crazy.
regardless, it's like...
And his variety is back. That's like the first season highlight.
Oh, is-
It's the variety.
Is that-
It's the variety. He scores one on it, cuts across the goal. He scores one, that little touch. And it's like that. He's back. That poaching is back. That one,
Mate,
even at
he
the end.
never left.
No,
He won
that
the golden
chipping.
boot.
No,
Like,
but it was
he
just
never
like he
left.
just lost a little bit of that touch. Like
I know,
we're talking
but
about,
this is why-
you said it last week. He underperformed, I'm pretty sure, his XG last year, which is crazy for Haaland.
Which was my point, was like, you expect a guy of that capability to be the prime person you look to smash XG, as in, beat it by 5-10 goals.
1.4 on the weekend.
What's his
scored three.
XG?
So 1.4
But
had
over the
1.4
season,
on the
maybe
weekend.
4?
I
4
don't know.
maybe?
It'd be something like that. But like,
Well, yeah, probably 3 or 4.
to build on what we said match day 1, to build what I said on the reaction on Sunday, we said you were here as well, I think. The first game was Chelsea. I was saying how good the team was, but we all said Haaland's goal was sit the defender down, take your time, then finish it.
Yeah,
the
he's
finish.
Yeah.
Like,
On the
he
weekend,
sat Cucurella down.
on the weekend, he backheeled the ball to Rico Lewis. He should have finished the chance. Like, he's trying to assist. Like, his game's not just 26 touches on the weekend. That's a lot of touch for Haaland.
Yeah.
This isn't just. It is poacher Haaland. He's still scoring goals. One was running in behind the back line. One was the ball landing his feet, touch, low backlift, bang.
Yeah.
The
One
third
of those
goal.
guys last week, I mean, that was outside the box.
He's
never seen him
scoring-
do that.
On the weekend, 3 different goals. Count the Ipswich game, 4 different goals across the last. So four goals he scored, they're all different.
Yeah.
The first game, different as well. He's assisting. He's getting touches of the football. Bernardo Silva nicking the ball off Paqueta and like, they're pressing. Like I said in the video, they are hungry. Like there is something in this team. I can't tell you now, but come season down, we'll know what the fuck was going on in this thing. They are crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I still think we're capable of beating them.
It's scary.
In a one-off, but I think over a season, you're more capable of dropping points than they are.
We'll see. I'm not 100% sure I agree with that, because I still think, as much as I bang on about Haaland, I still think if you can figure out how to shut him down, then I think you limit. This is just my opinion, right? As in, I don't think he'll score against us, right?
Yeah, but you're
I
probably
think-
the only team that can.
I know, but I think Saliba and Gabriel are the perfect partnership to just be able to shut him down. I think we have the size, we have the strength, we have the defending capability. So, as in, for example, I don't think if City are going to score against us, I don't think it's Haaland unless it's a pen or something like that, right? And I think across the season, they don't have another striker. He's not going to be able to play every minute in the Champions League and the
games,
Europa. Oh no, sorry, no Europa. Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. He's not going to be able to do that, right? He got injured last year. The reality is he's going to get rested at points. He's going to not have to play every minute of every game, and they're going to have to score other ways. So I think opportunities are still going to arise to beat City across the season. It's the first 3 games. He didn't play he didn't play in Europe over the European summer, no international football. So he's rested. He's ready to go. He's going to score so many goals. But is it going to be enough for City? That's going to be the question across the season. So I still think we can win the league 100%. But they do definitely look hungry. And whether they can maintain that the whole season, we'll have to see.
Do you think there's a little bit of a reliance back on them as well. Like we look at that first season when they dropped points, there was a dropping of Haaland.
Like they haven't got Roger or Foden playing yet. Either of them haven't played.
Yeah,
and it was Foden's team and Roger's team last season. So
but who have they
when do they?
First?
I know, but when they come back, then when Haaland doesn't score, you still got Foden. He bagged 3 at Brentford last season to win the game for them. He won the game versus West Ham end of last season. Like we still haven't got him back. We know what Savio's sitting people on their bum. He didn't even play on the weekend either. He wasn't featured. He was ill. Grealish played well on the weekend.
I just think
there's so many more
avenues.
avenues.
Injuries in this team can change the dynamic a lot, right? Like as in Haaland was literally injured last year. You know, there's still a lot which can play out. It is an aging squad, right? You know, the squad is aging. We've said this all year. KDB wanted to go during the summer, like he was twerking for the Saudis. So, like
working for the Saudis.
Send it to Saudi.
He was twerking for the Saudis. It was crazy. But
I think he'd be in jail if he did that in Saudi.
But now, look, the overall point is, I think you nailed it. They look so hungry. It's hungry. We haven't seen this for a couple of years at least.
Yeah. I think it's back to Aguero's last season. That was
a
a reason.
Also resembles like early Klopp, Pep.
That was a reason they went for it because it was Aguero's last year. There was a rule like no one knew it until the end, but there was a reason why, and I think that's why it's a Pep thing or KDB thing. That's why
it's probably the end of an era.
Bernardo Silva pressing hard the pitch, like that's when I know something's up. something's different in this team.
Yeah.
Newcastle Tottenham 1 quickly.
Interesting game, that one.
Missing Tottenham, man. I like the Odegaard signing, good player, but 2 big chances missed. Poro off the crossbar. Sonny missed a big chance. And just coming on to the next segment, but next week's in the fortnight's time, that North London derby is massive because Tottenham need a win.
Are they playing at home?
No, yes, they're at home.
I'll tell you what I was concerned about, and it wasn't so much the way they played when they had the ball. It was actually more when they didn't have the ball. Like that last goal with Isaac, the gap, and I talk about this so much. They obviously play this expansive football where they are left quite vulnerable at the back. Mm-hmm. But the gap there when Udogie and I think Pedro Porro were playing and they were dropped back, the gap between them and the centre backs, there's a 20-metre gap that all they had to do was play the ball. Why not? Everyone knows you tuck in there, and if the ball goes to a winger, even through, they are out wide. Like the gap between, I think it was Romero and Udogie, was 20 metres. They've just played that ball straight through to Murphy, I think it was. Murphy. And then Murphy's cut across to Isaac. Like, that is a gap that should never be there.
In an Ange team with a high line, these things are going to happen. You know,
but why not tuck in? It doesn't make sense.
Playing as well. Is it like a new face to
start? Give it to
season,
Gordon or Barnes. They might attack and they might score. They are quality players. Don't get me wrong. But if they
Barnes
get it,
was off at that point. It was Murphy was Barnes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, whoever it was. But if they get the ball out wide, even over the top out wide, that is a lot harder. They have to cut in, and it's a lot different dynamic. Then through the middle, through the guards.
It was a fucking good pass though. As well. Like Joe
Linton.
It
was, but it looked like the Red Sea had just parted for him as well.
But at that point, they were going for it. Like they put Papsar off. They'd bought because Papsar came off injured, I think, at half time. So they had like 5 attackers on. Like, they only had 2 midfielders.
Yeah, but I'm still like, if
that's just the way.
See, I could understand if Udogie had pushed up. If he had pushed up and there was a hole there, fair enough. But the fact he's on that last line and he's just decided to sit on the byline, like, why are you sitting on the byline when the ball's in the centre of the park? Any manager would tell you that's
it's wrong. It's wrong.
You always tuck in. You make the ground as small as possible when you're defending, and then make it as large as possible when you're attacking.
I don't know try and defend it because I don't know how to explain whatever Ange does, but there's obviously it was a reason that was set up like that. There was obviously, but it looks bad.
I think everyone has a lot of faith in Ange and his playing style, and I just think you have to trust it in terms of, like, don't question the execution, don't question what you see on the pitch, right? And I know everyone's entitled to that, but I'm just saying
it's his second season now though.
Okay, well, why is Ten Hag still there then?
I'm not disagreeing.
I don't want to talk about
the second season thing is not like an excuse.
It's the third game.
He just started.
Second season,
and there should be 9 points.
And he's got, like Solanke's not there.
Yeah.
Like his score, like it's. I mean, look.
They should have had 3 wins from 3.
Yeah.
If they could finish, they have 3 wins from 3. It's blatantly as it is.
Fair enough.
You can say that for a lot of teams, but they genuinely should have 3 wins. Leicester, they smacked them about. Newcastle and such
Yeah, the Leicester one hurts.
Yeah.
That one.
And so it's because Solanke's a new signing, he missed 2 big chances. Last night, there's balls hitting crossbars, there's balls missing from close range. Like, Odebeck should have 2. Like, it's just like, it's there. Everything besides the finished product.
I think Spurs will be fine.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah,
I suppose it's
think
gonna be a
I
big
had
game.
Spurs top 4. I think I had Spurs
You're
4th.
3rd or 4th?
4th, I think Newcastle 3rd.
I think they're too vulnerable for my liking at the moment. Until they fix that up.
I think you're fine being vulnerable if you can score, but the problem at the moment, they don't score. But once they
Yeah,
start
but to me, it
flowing,
seems like for Spurs to win, they've got to put 3 away every game. And don't get me wrong, they've got the capability
but
to
they can
do
do
that.
They've got.
they can do that.
Yeah, they've got the capability to do that, but it's not that easy. Playing a game style at the moment, and showed it worked last year, but they were solid at the back for those first 3 to 6 months of that season. They were solid still.
I would have said maybe a month max.
Nah, 3 months.
I don't think Spurs.
Yeah,
I even think like the Arsenal 2-2 game where they played fantastic. They still
But I
gave
still
up a
think they
shit
were
ton of
solid.
chances.
Yeah, it's a difference by giving up chances. They just look like there's holes though. And it's obviously because of their attacking output. There got to be holes. But obviously, and we said this about Liverpool, but it was a little bit different. But because I think they fixed that issue, and that's why they were actually all right last season. But you can't just keep leaking and leaking and leaking because there's going to go and expect output after output. And they're going to score more goals than everyone else.
That nearly got them. So I 100% subscribe to what you're saying, but it nearly won them the league. Like, as in, it didn't.
Held
And
the
that-
cheat
but I- and
What do you
I'm
mean it nearly won them the league?
You're saying about Liverpool.
No, but Liverpool
saying
are different. Liverpool fixed the defensive part of their game.
No, but as in you're still talking on the basis of essentially outscoring teams across the season. It's a model where we're not going to win by being defensive solid. So, our
We don't grind out games.
yeah, we're not going to grind our games. Our identity isn't going to be that we're solid from the back and that we're going to be super consistent defensively. It's going to be that we're going to outscore you and we're going to do this every week, right? And I agree that's not going to win you a trophy, in my opinion. It's not going to win you the league. It might win you a cup game or something. But as in, the point is that I think the way they want to play can take them very far. I think there's the league. There's a couple really, really good teams which you can't do that against. But everyone else, it's pretty even. And, they have the capability to put 3 past every team. Like, as in,
Okay,
that's what I look at
capability
Spurs.
and doing it, though, are 2 different things. And I look at Liverpool.
Well, if
we
they
were
don't
talking
do it,
about
they
this
don't
last
do it.
season.
That
And
means
you were
they've
big on this.
underperformed
You were big on this.
Yeah.
But the reason Liverpool were actually decent last year was players that in the past were good defensively performed to that ability again. We look at the likes of Van Dijk and those type of stuff.
What do you mean, though?
But
That's
they
not
were
true.
actually not
But
bad
I
defensively.
think-
they probably started the season bad defensively.
If we want to look at this, I'll take it different. If I look at this big picture, I think the progression of the Spurs side is to eventually shore up defensively.
Well, yeah, that's all I'm saying.
They need
though.
to
If they don't
become
fix
this.
that,
Think about Jurgen Klopp in the early days. They would consider shit ton of, like, let's be honest, they would ship goals, but they'd score shit ton of goals. But then once they made that big signings in the midfield, they short at the midfield, the Roberto Firminos and all that, all steadied themselves in a 3rd season under Klopp. Yeah. And we started to see that identity of not being beaten at home, defensively solid again.
I'll make my point
Yeah.
because you're saying completely. All I'm saying is you're saying they'll finish top
This
4.
is going to age well for him. It's going to age terribly for you.
No. All I'm saying is I'm not disagreeing that next season and stuff when they make these signings and stuff. All I'm saying is you said they finished top 4, and I said I don't think they can unless they shore up the defense this season. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this isn't going to be progression for 2 years time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Surely it's more so as in if they shore up defensively, why can't they win the league?
I feel like I
I don't think they have the quality to match City. They might have that 3rd place, but I don't think that.
We're talking about the era coming, like this whole City team, like dismantling.
Is that not what we're looking at though? If Spurs shore up defensively,
But I'm more talking about this season, not the future.
I'll put it in F1 terms. This is like McLaren behind the scene. Tottenham are building something here that the fans are happy to sit and deal with the shit like last night.
But that's what I'm saying. No, but I'm not saying. I'm saying next season they could be on a title challenge.
I know.
All I'm saying is this season, if they don't shore that up, they could.
Yeah.
They could do a Liverpool like last season and shore up the defence. And I'll sit back and I'll say that's what I was saying.
I think we're still saying is even without shoring up the defence, McLaren still got podium. Like they can still finish top 4 without shoring up the defence.
I don't think so.
When did Liverpool shore up the defence? It was the same right back. It was the same.
They just started playing better.
It was. No, but what? What does that
They
mean?
found form.
They found
the
forward
Spurs side
going
can
forward.
find that
I
in
don't
that
know what that
5.
means. Like
They were good defensively.
the
Right now,
Spurs-
Tottenham aren't the same as they were
okay,
last
so
year
the Spurs team,
defensively.
So this Spurs team doesn't have a World Cup winning centre back. You know, it does.
Bet-
Yeah, but
Cricket
you
side
want
back
to
in
you
the
want to
league.
go on
doesn't have
that.
100 million.
You want to go on that term. Go look at
CDM.
You want to go on that term. Go look at United and Chelsea's team. Look at the names there. But,
But
sometimes
those
we're
are
not.
basket cases. That's the
Mate, at least, but the difference is Spurs have an identity
Yeah.
which is attacking. United have nothing. You know,
Chelsea are
Like,
shit
is that
basket.
the
No, but
next
we're
name?
talking about the
We'll do
defensive
the combined,
output
we'll go to
here.
United, we'll go to-
Okay. Their back four is not performing at the ability they did those first 3 months of last season, 4 months of last
I
season.
think we go. I want to see the facts.
Agreed, is it?
And
We can come back
talk
to that.
about
some
that
point.
because
They dropped off at the second half of last season, and that's fact.
That was more of
they dropped
attacking
off. They
output.
dropped off after
dropped.
August. Let's be real.
That was a Madison fact. I couldn't want to touch Newcastle though. I think they're holding on. I'm being harsh on them. I'm going to stay harsh on them. They should have lost to Bournemouth. Should have lost last night. It's been a dodgy start to the season. Obviously, again, going back to
Is that not
the
Eddie
point,
Howe football though?
they're still just getting the points. But
I don't think so. I don't think that's Eddie Howe.
I just think they haven't clicked yet. I think it's a tough
And
start of
that's
the year.
why I'm bullish on them.
Yeah, if they can keep going.
If they were a stock, I think their stock would be decreasing at the moment. I'd be like, look, they're getting the results, and you know they don't look particularly good.
The only positive they can only
But
get better.
but
right?
but they should. But the stuff is there. The utilities are there to make this team work. Can the manager get it all going in the right direction and click? And to be honest, my thing with Newcastle as well was that even if it doesn't click with Eddie Howe, I don't think this Saudi ownership is going to be too afraid to bite the bullet and call it quits and get someone else in who can do a job. And you can turn it around really quick in a season. You just need a good spell of fixtures. You just need a good run. And you bank 15, 20 points in 6, 7 games. The season looks a lot different.
That's the thing. I think the positive in Newcastle. I think it's very easy to come in and just take where it was left off.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a team where you come in, you're like, oh fuck, like what do I do now? Like it's not like Chelsea or United or
It's not a massive squad to figure out.
And the system's pretty clear.
Yeah,
It's nice and compact defensively. It's possession and freedom for midfielders when you go forward, and it's utilising those flanks. Because I tell you what, Barnes was great last night. We know how good Gordon is.
Their attacking players are so easily
Identifiable.
Exactly. The way they play is so easily identifiable. And to be honest, if you're a manager nowadays, I think you'd love what you have at your disposal up top there.
Yeah.
You've got players who are fast, cut in, good finishers. You've got a tall striker who is so good at his feet. Like, Alexander Isak is one of the prime strikers in the world.
Modern striker.
In my opinion. Probably a top 5, top 10 striker capability, right? So there's a lot to work with there, as you said. So you're not wrong. I think
it's a watch though. We'll see how they progress.
Definitely a big watch.
Big watch
right?
for them, yeah. Because they just got another. They got the fair play. They got the points, but it's just
They
very.
still got 3 points against Spurs.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be really
Top
good,
team.
Yep.
We'll build on that quickly. We'll go a combined Arsenal and Tottenham 11 before we finish off with the end of the show here.
Yeah.
So that's coming up in 2 weeks' time. Big North London derby. I guess kicked off Tots. Actually, we'll do the same thing. Like back.
Yeah.
Midfield.
So goalkeeper.
Yeah. Raya.
I went for Cario.
Oh, little midget.
Yeah,
There we go.
just because I just want to, there's other players I wanted to
Nice
in
fair.
this team
That's
more so
fair.
than a goalkeeper. Once again, I'm a former goalkeeper.
Understand the game.
No one really cares about you. At the end of
Especially
the
with
day,
this back four,
at the end of the day,
look how much
all
you
you
do.
do is catch a ball, right? Like, as in, you're not going to do it.
Well, with this
You're
back
not-
four, you ain't
you're
doing
not-
shit. You're going to sit your ass.
You're not going to actually do anything. So it's like, you can put anyone in this goal with this, exactly,
with this back four, good luck, yeah.
And I don't really care with this. So,
You win
Guys
extra
went
Arsenal
Rayo,
player somewhere
Cario.
else.
Yeah.
Back four,
Poro, Romero, Saliba, and Timber.
same thing.
White,
I'm assuming you put right, yeah.
Gabriel, Saliba, Timber.
So you went a full Arsenal back four.
Have I put 5 Spurs players in this team? I have, yeah.
Okay, so
You
went-
got 4 out of their front 6.
I've got, mate.
4 out of the front 6.
This is the best. I think this might be the best defense in the world, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I know, but you've got to
I'm
think
just
where
not
you put him
so wait,
anywhere
did
else.
you guys have Romero Saliba?
Yes.
I'm just not having the Gabriel, man. I am going into bat for this guy because he just has never had enough appreciation for how good this guy is. Like, he's.
So do you think who's the Rolls Royce of that back line?
I think they're both Rolls Royces, but it's Saliba. But like, that's because Gabriel is probably next to he's next to the next Van Dijk. Like, Saliba's
massive.
Yeah, but if I'm choosing one, I'm going to choose Saliba. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you should
Should choose both. I know
Gabriel
what you're saying.
is that good. He shouldn't.
Romero's
he
not
shouldn't
bad
be,
though.
Oh, Gabriel Romero. It's like, yeah, but I think they're the top 2 centre backs in the league.
Yeah, but
So it's like-
you're acting like if I had the ability and Prez had the ability to pick just an all a combined 11 and it wasn't 6 players, 1, 5 players, the other, we wouldn't put Gabriel in this team.
I managed to get him in my team.
Yeah,
So.
That's all you.
I still love Romero though. He's a crazy guy, but I like what he
Like,
does.
if this was an all-out team, there's
and
probably
Miles?
2 players.
No Ben White either. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm not feeling the Love Island vibe. I'm going
Yeah.
full
Midfield,
the right back.
It's disgraceful.
Midfield 3. We've got midfield 3.
Basuma.
We're doing availability, by the way.
Yeah.
We got the availability.
Basuma, Havertz, Odegaard.
Fucking hell. That's an attacking midfield. Havertz at the...
How confused. I'm hell confused.
Havertz at the 8? Havertz at the 8.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And you've gone?
I went Partey, Basuma, Odegaard.
I went Basuma, Odegaard, Madison.
Fuck.
Oh.
So I'm going Brexit defence, and you guys are actually going to actually put some attack.
Well, I like Partey as well. I love Partey a lot, but I needed to put Ben White and Gabriel on this team. So
Yeah, I don't see how we don't have the same front. We all don't have the same front 3.
Well, do you have any? No, you have enough available, right? So I went Son, Solanke, Saka. Do
Yeah.
you have enough available to go?
Son, Solanke, Saka.
Okay, cool. I thought you ran out your
Yeah,
answer.
because
first.
he went the
It's-
2
it's
midfielders
that.
and we only went the 1
Yeah,
Spurs midfielder.
Yeah, makes sense. Same thing for you,
I
Tots.
did Raya as well, true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
The
with you.
same. That
That front line. That front line's
The
bloody
Solanke,
good.
I was umming and ahhing.
Whose team wins the league? Mine or yours?
I like my ability to be defensive, and I have to be.
I would have
I
liked.
love my team.
I would have liked my team if Rice was playing. I think
So-
that was.
Well, Rice
that-
played with
I think
Partey.
my team with Rice would have been both your teams with Rice.
I'd probably take out.
So Havertz goes out of your team then.
No, I put Havertz. I would put.
Then you got me Arsenal first.
Listen, okay, listen.
Listen.
Okay, I'd go Havertz as striker. I'd put Rice in instead of. I'd put.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'd put Rice in where Havertz was playing, and it'd be Rice and Basuma,
But you got more
Your
Arsenal
team
players.
sucks.
and I'd bring Vicario in instead of Raya.
fuck.
Mate, my team, if I straight swap Odegaard for Declan Rice, and I have Basuma, because I'm doing it on the basis that I want to keep my Spurs players, and I have Basuma, Rice, and Madison, it's one of the best midfielders in the league.
Maybe Basuma, Rice, and Odegaard's cooking.
Yeah, I agree.
Consistency.
Basuma, Rice, Odegaard's way better.
Mate, Basuma Rice sounds like a meal.
Yeah, can I have some Basuma Rice, please? Thanks.
Yeah, mate, I want some Basuma
Chuck the rice on it.
Go to the Indian and get some Basuma
Yeah, can I get
Rice.
some Basuma Rice inside of Odegaard? Mate.
Bosh.
Bosh.
He's on the phone. Basuma Rice. Bosh.
Bro, Basuma Rice actually sounds unreal though.
Can I get a side of Odegaard with that one, please? Thank you very much.
Can I get some Basuma white rice?
Crazy.
Bro, 5 years' time, people are going to be like rewinding the clips. They'll be like, these blokes, what are they even going on about?
What are they waffling? Before we get into the train wreck, it was Chelsea 1, Palace 1. For Chelsea fans, probably it was a train wreck for them as well. Palace managed to get a point after Chelsea were everywhere in the first 30 minutes, just couldn't finish anything off. Eza finally got that long-range goal, by the way.
I tried it out.
Finally got it. Good
Yeah.
curling effort off the post and in.
It was a weird game, though. Definitely.
Chelsea probably deserved the 3 points, but
Oh, yeah, they
that's just
did.
Palace to a
But
T.
Chelsea started off the better team, but Palace were
They grew.
Palace were better in the second half. Apart from that Jackson chance right at the end.
Yeah, no,
Apart from the Jackson chance in like the 95th minute.
Felix had a great chance. He dribbled through the whole Palace team and then just P-rolled it. Straight
Yeah, I
to the
know.
keeper.
But
They
probably
should've done
apart from the big Jackson, I think Palace were the better team in the second half.
that.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch this game.
I'd second that. I was watching the F1.
I was watching it as well, so I probably did miss a few things.
Yeah,
but I had the computer out for this game.
I watched it back this morning to make sure I didn't miss anything. But yeah, Palace were good second
Yeah,
half.
maybe I missed it because that Felix chance to me looked like a good chance, but it didn't look like
I think
amazing
he did a lot of
chance.
hard work to get there and then just
Yeah, but that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
but
missed
it more looked like a lapse of Palace's defense to let him
yeah,
through.
yeah, a bit of a brain failure there. But handy point for Palace.
Who
Yeah.
Hopefully
did
back on track.
start at the back, sorry?
They went Gahey,
There's
Chay,
some
Riyad.
weird backline.
I think Richard still played again
So who's
though.
going to be coming into that back line?
So Chalobah will play alongside Gahey and they'll. Will they?
Didn't they bring someone else in defensively?
I think they'll keep Chatty Riyad though, because that's the future.
Who else did they bring in though?
They brought
brought
in.
someone else.
Oh my gosh, I've forgotten the name.
Munich.
No, centre back. They brought a centre back in. Let's just send it to
They
the
brought
chat.
someone way better than
Other-
Chalobah.
Isn't he like the South American geezer?
No.
I swear they signed him from a Premier League club.
No, they got us on across, and I was hyped about it.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
a key signing.
from Forest.
No,
Wait.
because I was thinking.
There's another centre back.
Yeah, they're not gonna play, I was thinking they're not going to play Chalobah.
Lacroix came in from.
Yeah, it was like
Oh.
Lacroix, bro.
Yeah.
Lacroix. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
because he was with.
Bro.
I still think Chatty Riyad might
Oh
start.
my god, Lacroix. Yeah, but he...
Like FIFA, that's scary. 88 pace centre back.
FIFA, no, it's all FIFA tax. This guy's all FIFA tax.
Him and what was the Leipzig bloke?
Leipzig bloke.
Yeah, the Leipzig bloke.
Yeah,
There was 88 pace LaCroix and there was 85 pace centre back. Klosterman.
From FIFA.
Klosterman and LaCroix. That was the beta squad.
LaCroix is going to be a wash baller.
He's just FIFA merchant.
He's FIFA tax, 100%.
No, but remember Klosterman and LaCroix used every single starter team had him. That was like scary shit. No matter who you had up top, they were catching. Man, don't bring back those days. To be honest, FIFA was alright back in the day.
Yeah, I haven't played the new.
Nah,
I can't say. I don't have it. Last 2 seasons, I haven't played. 2 games.
We're having this conversation last night. Like with Mitch, I was like, I bought a PS5 and I bought a PS5 and would not have notched 50 hours on the PS5.
That's grim saying. That is grim saying.
Resell it, man.
We'll get to the final game.
Yeah.
This is frustrating to watch.
I want to hear you have a bit of a rant here.
Well, that's the thing.
I've got a rant to have as well.
Yeah, like, and maybe it just sounds stupid at this point, but I think
I'm 10 hugging.
Here we go.
Long term.
Here we go.
I think you can't. The manager. Okay. The Diallo move.
Yep. This is my agreement.
That's the manager. But what in God's name was that? I don't care if in the first 5 minutes, yes, we were good, but we couldn't pass the parcel. Like, you couldn't nail a pass from 5 yards. Casemiro. I don't know individual, but I can go around everyone. Casemiro, Martinez, and De Ligt both guiding the near post twice for the first offside goal and the second goal.
I'm not so big on that though.
I'm not
so big on that.
You've got Colby getting bodied by McAllister. You've got Bruno not touching it. Garnacho not touching it. I'm not trying. I'm just like, everyone was at fault in this game. It was like no one was ready to be there, and I'm not questioning these players and their commitment because they obviously did enough to keep Ten Hag in a job by winning an FA Cup. That was obviously them caring for the manager to win that.
Yeah.
But you come to a game that's the biggest game in your in the club season. The league season is the biggest game. Liverpool at home is our biggest game as a club for the year, and it looked like you didn't care. I'm not questioning if they cared or not, but it looked like you didn't care. The performance was so far off it. Everyone looked leggy. No one could pass. There was holes everywhere of the park, and that's not just one player. That's everyone. I know Casemiro was awful, but everyone was awful. And that's what I question. That's not the manager. That performance cannot be the manager. That was, you couldn't pass, you couldn't hold a high line, you couldn't play out from the back, you couldn't deal with the press, you couldn't defend. Like, what could you do? Like, no one in that park, all 14 players.
I've got a little bit of a different perspective. Similar, but with a twist. So, I think I agree with that. Like, there are things that the manager could have done, which is, you can't say it's not on the manager, because you lose 3-0 at home. Yeah, Xerxes had a few.
Four and a half.
I can't remember any chance.
Xerxes should have scored 2.
Xerxes had a header. Okay.
And the one at the back post.
And the curler where Alisson said as well.
Yeah.
And the one at the back post.
Yeah. And the one at the back post, yeah.
He should have scored 2. They were 2.
Massery
probably like both
Massery
0.8 XG shots.
Yeah, the header wouldn't have been 0.8. But
in the end of the day, that was equal shots.
Yeah, but I'll say what I want to say first. I think the game was it was a very sloppy first half an hour of that game. Both teams, and it was very much a bit of ping pong. No one really put their foot on it, but it was needing that first goal. And the fact that you're going to say everyone was sloppy, and they were, but to a degree. Casemiro has passed that ball twice directly to their player. When Mazraoui and Dalot are pushed up the pitch, you've left Martinez and De Ligt on their own there, and they've come across and you're going to say they both don't have to go across, but their expectation is the back post is covered. They're not, and you're going to say that they should be covering that back post, and probably should have been maybe a metre or 2, but they still don't get to that either way. I don't think that's a big. We're talking about a time where someone's made a mistake and we're expecting them to cover it when it was a 4v2. I don't know if you can have that expectation. What I will have the expectation is, though, which annoys the shit out of me, and I heard Goldbridge actually go on about this, is Onana. Onana didn't play a bad game again, okay? But we had a shot stopper and you're playing for Man United. Onana is now at that point where he's not making the horrible mistakes, but he just saves what he expects to save. And he never pulls off. We had a shot stopper that was And you got to look at all the best teams. You've got to be pulling off.
I think that's the least of your priority, like the least of your issues.
But it just annoys me. You brought in Onana, obviously, to hit these balls and play out from the back, like you brought in Raya instead of Ramsdale and kind of stuff. But he just doesn't do it.
One more thing before I know you'd want to say something. Yeah. Another thing as well, which I don't know if anyone actually mentioned it yet. Liverpool look fitter. They looked quicker. And they just look, they won every 50-50. Yeah, the middle of the park, that was him. Like, and we said in the live stream, like, I'm a McAllister stan, but he bodied Maney. Gravenberch ran that midfield all day long. And Sabazza was just picking up spaces and holes. And that, for me, like, it was literally a difference of skill and fit. If you want to really dumb it really down, and that's how I'm looking at it, they were more skilled, they were fitter, and they worked harder.
But I'll touch on that. I don't disagree with that, and that's fact. But this is where you say, and I'll agree with him more so, and you're obviously still going to give Ten Hag time. It's match week 3, and if you've committed to him to this first season, you can't now go, 3 weeks in, we're gonna bail out. You can't do that. You got to, as I was saying,
it's a much harder squad to take over than Newcastle. Good luck.
Yeah.
And especially with Ten Hag now, he's put his players in. So if you go get a new manager, you need a manager that
700 million.
likes
You need a
those
manager
type of
that
players.
likes ex-Ajax players.
Yeah, pretty much. But when I look at it, there's just things like Ugarte, for example. We have ended up going to pay what PSG have asked to pay, but we do it. He not even registered for match week 3. We know Casemiro's legs are gone. We know Kobe Mino is Pedri 2.0 at this point. Plays 90 minutes every week. Goes to the Euros. Plays 90 minutes every game. Comes back. Bloke's legs are gone. He's running around trying to fill that Casemiro void as well. Bloke showed for the first time, he's semi-clean and he does a good job. And he probably had a good first 30 minutes. But he just died after that because it's not at his detriment. It is that he's playing 90 minutes every week. He's a 19-year-old that doesn't do it.
Who's the young guy you brought on?
Collier. But this is what I mean. Ugarte, we were meaning to sign a DM. We get rid of McTominay before we even have signed Ugarte. Like, don't get me wrong, McTominay, for the progression of the club, had to go.
Yeah.
But at the same point, we've got no one there to cover. We know what Casemiro has been like. We know Manu needs a rest. It's not even on the Casemiro thing. It could have been Ugarte and Casemiro playing this game.
3 more years of Casemiro. That is one of the worst signings of all time.
He's not going to play over this season, after this season. He was going to go at the end of this season.
You gave a 31-year-old 5-year deal. It's actually ridiculous.
No, but what I'm getting at is, this is when I touch on Ten Hag. And I don't know if it's Ten Hag, if it's the back staff, or it's an inner problem at United. It looks like it's an inner problem at United, considering every manager comes in, and it seems to be these late signings every time there's a... It looks like... But
honest to God, what good managers have you had, though, since Fergie?
Mourinho?
Yeah, but it's Mourinho. He's not exactly flawless, right? Who have you actually had? Have you had a good manager? I can't say... Ole, trash.
I thought Van Gaal was getting somewhere by the time he finished, but then...
Yeah, but you bit the bullet so early.
Yeah,
we went. Bizarre.
That was we won a trophy and he went. It was so strange.
See, I'm just... like,
that really annoyed me.
I think United fans are caught up in a weird thing here where they're like, okay, we've tried so many times with giving managers a short time and giving them the sack. Yeah, and now I think you're committed to persevering because you want to persevere and you want it to work, right? No, I get it. I honestly get it.
Now, yeah.
But I've just been so adamant for so long now. Like, legit 18 months, I reckon I've been saying this.
Almost longer.
That this guy is just not that guy. Like, as in, I understand the arguments that it's not, when the players stuff up passing, when they can't pass the parcel. That was funny.
Yeah, but you, at this point now, I'm completely agreeing with you.
But as in, there's like they're not incapable players. There is issues here, and even if the game, you can't play out from the back, blah blah blah, or change the tactics, do something. Just do, you have to do something. You're getting beat 3-0 at home, like there just has to be something.
I know it's on a whole different scale. You guys spoke about it previously.
I just don't even know.
You guys spoke about it previously when we're touching on the Fulham game, that they've got these new players, this new thing. We'll give them a little bit of time, and obviously you're United. You don't have that time.
No, at this point, at this point, you've invested. You have to persevere.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, let's come back match week 10, because I think that's when you start to go. If stuff aren't starting to work at that point, then I'll put my hand up.
Stuff aren't starting to work.
But we've got new players. Like, De Ligt and Martinez, that's the first game they've played together. Yeah. Xerxes had chances, he didn't put them away, but he's showing promise. We bring in Ugarte. You know what? Mazraoui didn't play a good game yesterday, but he had his first 2 games of the season were good.
Probably our best player was the first 2.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, yesterday was a different challenge, don't get me wrong, and it's a better team, and that's what it's shown, that maybe he isn't cut out, but it's also one game. You know what? Let's go back at match week 10 when we start to actually get a system together. Not a system together. It's not actually a system.
Hope a system.
Whatever the
but these players have started to gel. These players have started to gel. It looked like, to me...
Yeah, when we're playing with our identity, you know, I love the buzzwords. I just want to hear all the buzzwords. When the system's in and the identity's connected.
No, but it's not about that.
The ball playing.
Xerxes, De Ligt.
I love it.
Xerxes and De Ligt started for the first time yesterday.
No, but look, he's won more trophies than everyone else. He's the second best manager in England since Pep.
No, but Xerxes and De Ligt started for the first time yesterday. You got to look at Mazraoui's third game. You know, Mainu and Casemiro ain't playing anymore. Ahmed, we know now, is going to start with Garnacho. So it's just this. It's a new team. It's a new United. So if you didn't bite the bullet, as you said, you had to bite. You know what? Whether you bit the bullet or not, that's up for debate. Probably, I think if the FA Cup didn't happen, we're saying that cup success has saved him in the league, but that's just what's happened now. There's new players that have come in. Even if you talk about Ahmed's a new signing. So Ahmed's a new signing. So you've got really Martinez this season is a new signing as well from last season. So we're talking about players that played last season. We're really talking about Dalot, Mainu, Garnacho, Bruno, 4 players. Onana, 5 players. So we're talking about 6 new players into the team from last season. So you've got to see what actually happens. You're not having that expectation. I know Arne's slots come in, but he's a very similar team than what they had last season. So it's a very similar. Really, it's the exact same team.
That's the thing. That's why I'm not jumping on. This is me for 20 months now. I've never jumped on him because I still.
But you've
I'm
got
still
to
putting it. There's a part of me that puts on him, but these are players on 300, 200 grand a week. You tell him you can't play out of a fucking press. You can't play out of a press.
But what I'll say is, yesterday is on him, but I'm not going to jump ship here. It's still on him with some of the decisions. He chose Rashford purely because Rashford pops up for moments against Arsenal and City and those teams. And I'm not blaming him for doing that, but you look at what Ahmed scored and dominated these first 2 games, dominated pre-season and got dropped. If you're going to do that, you should drop Garnacho then.
Can I be positive and flip it, or do you have one more thing to United?
Oh no, I was just looking at the 5 stages of grief.
Where are we at now?
I was hoping delusion would be one for Ten Hag, because I was like, oh, he's a bit delusional at the moment. You know, he's like, oh, I'm the second best manager in the league. So I was thinking that's definitely delusion, right? But that could also be bargaining. He could be bargaining with himself.
Is that second
I
stage?
am the second best, right? I think you're in denial.
How am I in denial? I'm sitting shit.
I think you're bargaining as well. Like you're saying like they're on 200 grand a week. How can they not play out from the back? That's definitely bargaining.
that's
So what stage is denial? What stage is denial?
You're stage 1. You got a long way to go.
Oh.
You're stage 3.
You're
about to be in depression.
I could argue what
And then probably a couple of weeks you'll be in acceptance.
But I don't think I'm in denial. I'm just in see how it goes and I'll bite the bullet.
You don't think you're in denial. It's okay.
Had to flip for this and be not depressed. How good were Liverpool? How good my prediction?
Everything went right for them though.
Seriously,
in the same way, they put every chance away.
Honestly though, this is impressive. I saw this last night. I might make a video intro in the week about it. But I don't know if I said it on the podcast at all, but I was talking about Liverpool V3 with Klopp, like the 3rd iteration of what this club's going to be. Yeah. And that's what they were trying to do last season with Szoboszlai and a little bit less pressing. I think Slot has literally walked into what he wanted almost, because
you were saying this pre-season, you were like, I was like, oh, I don't, Klopp's a very specific system, and I hadn't watched Liverpool in the pre-season.
Yeah, that's about
so I was like, oh, I have no idea how this is going to go in. I don't know how it's going to slot in.
Yeah.
and then you were like, well, I've been watching. It's looking pretty similar.
Well, it's similar, but it's not. It's not. What are they calling it? Like, there's not rock. What are they calling it on the footy? There's not like rock football. It's still a bit less energetic pressing, which
was pretty intense last night.
It's still intense, but there's not that same willingness of like Sadio Mane's and Firmino's who are just runners. Yeah. And you still get the Diaz's and the Jotas who still work hard, but not those sort of players. But then there's such a focus on the middle of the park that makes Sabozza a better player.
Gravenberch was
that makes
elite
Gravenberch a
yesterday.
better player. That makes Luis Diaz-Jota more involved. It's not just the fullbacks doing everything for you. So you don't have to rely on Trent and Robbo every single game to be the guys and Salah to have those amazing moments. They still are performing, but because you've got help from the middle, and I've been on McAllister's back, but I think him and Gravenberch as a two is still really, really solid. And for the system they need to play, I think Klopp was seeding that team to start doing that. He didn't want to do it in the end, but they've got the perfect manager who's basically has a similar style, but prefers to play the players the team have got. That's his sort of type of players. Gravenberch is his type of player. You know, McAllister's his type of player. Jota's his type of player. And it's like, no wonder they've made any transfers because the players he's got is the players he'd probably get anyway. Like Chiesa is just depth. He's not really going to start for this team. You know, Vandenberg gets sold. Klopp, if Klopp was there, maybe he stays. You know, Quansah, he tried to get him in. He said, nah, I'd rather have Kanate. So the players are already there. So I think the whole big deal about the transfers and not happening, they were still a title. They were in the title race with 10 games to go last season. And I know they fell away, and I get that. And that's still the question mark of this team. It's 1 year older.
Do you think they're in a title race this year?
I still think they can be around. I still think I put in the same category as the top three.
I think they are that third team. It's just whether they're in a title race or not. Because
I had them as the top group, as a 3. You guys had them as a 2 and a 3. That's where we...
right?
That's
what I would say,
I actually have them outside the 4.
Yeah, I've got them outside the 4 as well.
Yeah, so I had them.
That's why I said I'm not coming prediction review day.
No, but
that's not even that
I'm still going to stand here and be like, look, how many times have we seen new manager bounces? Like, come on, this happens all the time.
Yeah, Ange was the pinnacle of this.
I'm not going to get tricked into this. Like, it could be very good, but it's not going to be all bloody flowers for Liverpool and Slot, you know. And it's the way I want to see how he can overcome a loss, a couple losses, you know, a bad spell of games to get a better grasp on where this team will finish. I mean, we did this the whole of last year. It is such a long season, man.
We say every week on the couch.
Well, because you really need to stress this.
They don't have the depth to go with Arsenal.
The nature of the show is to be reactionary. Right? I get it, but as in,
you gotta sometimes step back and.
But as in, like, you need to be reactionary, whilst on the same time, like you have these long term views of how things are going to go, and then how a weekend of football changes those views. It's kind of like, you know, where what this show is, right?
That, yeah.
And it's like, you want to be careful not to be like not to fluctuate your views too much, right?
Yep.
And despite Liverpool looking really, really good, my long-term view with Liverpool is that, okay, new manager bounce, we're still in that phase, right? They're going to go through phases where they lose games. They're going to lose to City. If they don't, they don't, right? I'll hold my hands and be like, they performed way better than I expected. But the reality is they're going to drop games they shouldn't drop. They're going to win games they probably are unexpected to win. You know, maybe Arsenal away or something like that, right? Win up beating United 3-0 at home. 3-0 away at Old Trafford. Like, that's probably, no one probably expected that.
No one expected that's a good one.
3 weeks ago, at least. No one would have expected that. You know, well, how much have the moods changed since then? 3 weeks ago,
it was United at the back.
Losing 3-0 at Old Trafford. Who said that? I probably would have expected it, but that's about it.
When you look at it, like, from a whole league point of view, I just think that their starting 11's good. Like, they've now put this placement in of that.
They have good depth too.
No, I just don't know if they do. You look at the midfield. They've got no midfield depth and no defense. And this is what we were talking about yesterday. I said, Chiesa is a great signing, and you always do that signing for the price because of how cheap it is. How cheap it is. But if you look at it, like, McAllister gets injured, Gravenberch gets injured. They really don't have anything.
What did Zubimendi really solve though?
I don't think he even start. The way they're going, he wouldn't even start.
Zubimendi starts.
He probably would have started, but it meant that it's like
different character to what Slot's team's doing. They're not an ultra aggressive team. They're like a calm. Like, there's no need for a Ugarte or a Zubimendi. A Marino would sort of fit this type of team. Yeah. A cool, calm guy who can nick the ball back and play in a tight spot. McAllister and Gravenberch aren't sliding into tackles and going out. They're holding their position. They hold that narrow shape. And then when they get the ball, their benefit is playing. That's why everyone's like,
it's just a depth aspect. Obviously, he might be the player or not be the player, but
I just look at
the back four, and then I also look at, like, that midfield three. Who covers them? So let's say, like, even Sloboslai gets injured, probably Gakpo plays the 10.
No, they got
Endo, and then because I've been
on Endo, they'll push McAllister forward. They'll do something like that.
The versatile enough for me. The back four, I'm really.
It's just a big drop off. I think
Kanate and Van Dijk. People underrate Kanate
at the form. If he doesn't perform at the form he did last year, that's already a drop off, and then an injury would be really, really detrimental.
Yeah,
I just think that when you look at Arsenal and City, you go injury, replacement, in.
Yeah.
And you go, like, Arsenal would have to have a lot of injuries to you for you to rule them out from being...
Oh, well, if Saka goes down...
But this is like
every team has big losses.
This is the modern game, though. We can all say because there's so many games, but every team will have to go through it at some point.
Yeah.
But I think
it's you
could cover Saka going out better than Liverpool could
cover
Van Dijk going out.
Saka's 22.
Yeah. And he's played every game for how many years now? Like
it gets hacked out all the time. He's our most
He plays every 90 minutes. Like
it's the likelihood of that. You'd say is relatively unlikely. Virgil van Dijk has had big knee issues. You know, he's 33 probably or something like that. You know, he has a lot to do. He's got a lot of ground to cover. Plays a lot of minutes. You probably look at that more likely for Virgil to go out
50% versus like 5%. Essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
Essentially, yeah. Is Virgil going to play the whole season? He's probably 50%.
50% chance.
Is Saka probably 95%? You think he's going to play the whole season?
100%.
Right? That's a really good example.
Before I quickly wrap up, I was watching an AFTV clip of like this guy spazzing out because Vieira is on loan and Smith Rowe's been sold. So you can flip on every single club to make 100%. It feel like there's like a disaster. Cause someone's like, there's no Declan Rice, so who plays DM? And someone's like,
we let go of Reece, Smith Rowe, Eddie, Fabio Vieira.
But sometimes you can't have too big of a squad because of what happens with Chelsea. So I feel like Arsenal taking the right steps, and sometimes it's inevitable. Injuries don't happen, but you trust your players like a Havertz or an Endo.
Yeah, the reality is, we didn't use any of them last year.
Yeah.
Like
you have versatile players for a reason. That's why you got them.
Vieira played a little bit, but that's it.
No, he didn't. It was only Eddie.
Let's finish off with winners and losers. Perhaps on a bit of a bigger one this weekend. I'll get kids off because you've already mentioned that you sort of took my thunder away. I didn't realise you'd say it, but Carragher's comment is the winner for me. He went so early on it and he's nailed it.
In my head.
It's rent free. I think Casemiro hears it in his sleep, so he's my winner for me.
He's absolutely nailed it. That call.
He went early. That's why I agree with you. He went early. My losers obviously Everton and Sean Dyche back-to-back weeks. They're my losers. I'm going to keep on their back until they win a game of football. So that for me is a loser of this weekend.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, winner. Arno Slot wins the Battle of the Baldies.
Yeah, Ball Classico 1-0 to Slot.
Yeah.
Battle of the Baldies.
Yeah, and then loser. It's a tied
three-way
here. There's a lot of tied three-way, I'd say,
you're going to steal mine.
Between Everton, Cass, and United.
Take your pick.
Yeah, I don't actually know what was worse out of the three. Like, Everton losing, I wouldn't say is bad, but just in the manner they lost. And then Casemiro, I said it last night, bloke is a racehorse that needs to be let down.
Let down or put down?
Put
down, whatever.
Learn Arabic, buddy. Just start learning Arabic.
Bloke is... Huey lad.
Bro, that is
start learning Arabic.
Major start learning Arabic.
Start learning Arabic.
That's crazy.
Yeah. As Carragher said, you got to leave the football before the football leaves you.
Football left him about 12 months ago, but he still thinks it's there.
My winner is I just had it. I traded in Luis Diaz.
Oh, so you're a personal.
Yeah,
winner.
I'm a bit of a winner.
Yep.
And then my loser is Chris Kavanagh. You know, I'd say watch your back, mate.
He's comfy.
Nah. My loser is the officiating.
Did they actually come out with PGML whatever with anything? No.
I haven't seen.
So they're sticking by their guns there.
Yeah, I mean,
so next weekend,
once you've given that decision,
you have to wait to.
That's not a decision you go, that was wrong. It's just a decision you go,
no, but
you should never do that.
Come out and say, that's correct. We're going to stick by the all.
Exactly.
That's.
I want
to. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me a bit of like that Cass red card, that first one.
The chokehold or like
the bloke just had his hands there, and like he's starting giving that red card now. It's just
his hands around his neck.
Yeah, we didn't squeeze.
But you can talk about squeeze. Fuck yeah. We've gone crazy. It's been too long.
You know what? Bring back the old days. Someone did something. Roy Keane gets injured. Like Haaland dies. Like the end.
Snapped Diaz last night.
It was a bad tackle.
I was like, what?
He was so late.
I liked it though. I liked it. You always try to actually really like the Martinez when he got pissed off and cleaned up. I think
was Diaz?
Was it Diaz as well?
Probably.
Or Jota?
Szoboszlai got taken out.
Oh yeah, he just had enough and he just went straight through the back of him.
That's the problem. That's why Liverpool got cool, calm heads and United got too many hot heads.
But I don't mind it. At least show some passion.
Something. Let me feel something again because I'm depressed.
I'm a depression. He holds the name The Butcher. That's all right.
Next week we'll check how far down the stages are.
If we lose to Southampton, I'm retiring off the podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Game's gone. It can be Flint thinking just take a Monday show and just talk about us.
I won't be coming on if we lose to Southampton.
I should have Ten Hag sack special. Sorry, let's start this.
Just a solo.
You just love it. You love a Ten Hag sack and then go on your whole rant about, oh no, I want Ten Hag to stay for the rest of your life. Get those couple of wins in.
Man, I'm pretty rinse and repeat. No, I love him.
Hey, it works. It works. You're not that bad. That actually works every week. It's been a long one. So if you join us, still, thank you. Thank you guys coming on. Massive week. Obviously last night, I think. But we'll be back, obviously, with the week before the Premier League. We might do a combined one next week, just the four of us, if that's available, because nothing on international football. So there'll be one pod next week. Then we'll be back full again as the season comes back. Big games coming up. Arsenal, Tottenham. I think Chelsea have a big game as well coming up as well. So a lot to look forward to next week. Thanks for joining us. 5 stars, Spotify, 5 stars, Apple Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. And I'll see you guys on Thursday for the midweek pod. See you next time, guys. See you later.